Clack, Debbie G. Hey everybody, I know you know us, but we want to introduce you to a very good friend of ours that has an awesome show that's going to be a part of.
We're going to be on her show. We're going to put the plow zone on her show on spirituality.
We got to write some of this down, dude.
It is right there.
No.
You don't know your name?
Shut up.
Okay.
I didn't know what happened.
I know.
Okay. Hey everybody, we want to introduce you to a good friend of ours that has an awesome show, man. Debbie G, Cuppa Grata, Spirituality Gone Wild. And what's that consist of, Scott?
It consists of a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality.
Woo.
I'm really interested in this.
Wow, yeah,
now.
that's...
And I think we were just...
You're lucky to get past one shot of reality.
One shot in reality. That's usually how it works.
That's your quota.
One shot in reality. And you can spark that G vibe too, you know.
That's a whole nother ball game right there.
That's Debbie G. Now she has a great show. It's called Cuppa Grata, and it is a great show. She brings on guests. She brings in mediums. She brings together influencers, unfiltered, raw, organic discussions through celestial medias. Just like
mediums.
Mediums? She brings in
media. Celestial media?
She brings in
so
mediums.
ET's got his own little media group now. Double agents.
But no, Debbie G, she has a great show where we're encouraging you guys to check it out. The Plow Zone, it's part of the Plow Zone family. You know it is. That's why we have her on.
That's right.
There.
We met her
Debbie
down in
Garcia,
NAM.
Yes, Debbie
Met her
Garcia.
down in NAM. We just clipped because her battery was dead on her phone. Mine was dead on my phone.
And you guys started talking after
that?
Yeah,
we fought over the same outlet, and then we started talking.
That's right. Because she's going to spark your G vibe.
She did, yeah.
Spark the G
that
vibe.
Socket, yeah, that socket. She was sparking the G vibe.
Check out her show, Cuppa Grata. The Plow Zone Radio Show is going to be on there very soon.
All right, take 3. Hey, Debbie G has Cuppa Grata. It's Spirituality Gone Wild. It's a shot of expression and 2 shots of reality. She brings together influencers, unfiltered, raw, organic discussions through celestial mediums.
And she has mediums. She has mediums on the show.
Yeah. And now she's part of us with media.
That's right. Yeah. And we're going to do a little shout out to her because we love her, and we thank you for inviting us on your show. You're going to be on our show. You're going to come into the studio, and we'll bring you on.
Get a hold of Spirituality Gone Wild and spark that G vibe.
Cuppa Grata with Debbie G.
That was a good one. I'm so
still cracking up. Every time I play that, I literally start rolling. Thank you, Scott and Scott. I love you guys so much. You all know them. That is the Plow Zone Gone Wild, Plow Zone Radio Show, where you have seen artists from Foghat and Vanilla Fudge and Montrose, all of our cool 70 rockers, you know, that kind of thing. So this morning, and welcome, by the way, to Cuppa Grata with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. And I have an excellent co-squirt today. You're going to dig her. We are going to have so much fun today. We're going to be talking about business integrity, and we're going to meet somebody who is an entrepreneur, a very successful business consultant, coach, and guide, and a mom. And I can tell you that her son is so stinking cute. I almost can't stand it. It's like I was looking at pictures of this little guy. Oh my God, I swear, I'll see if it's okay. I didn't want to bring any up without her permission. He's so stinking cute. Anyway, it's a thing to be a mom, and it's a thing to be a mom and have a business and all the responsibilities that come in and still keep that smile on your face and still stay in alignment with who you are and your self-care and all of those other great things. So my guest today, her name is Elizabeth Upton. I'm just going to read you right what's on her website. It says, from her, I can honestly say that I have found freedom in my life. That wasn't always the case. As an executive in the film and TV industry, I managed thousands of clients, A-list producers, teams, and relationships. I took the corporate team under my wing. I ran all the operations and was the glue that held it all together. Work and sleep, rinse and repeat. I know that, right? Anybody else know the rinse and repeat? Jeez. I was also suffering from an unimaginable personal crisis. I was devastated from the very sudden and tragic death of my father. I'm sorry, sweetie. And I poured myself into work to avoid the pain. I didn't realize how much stress was affecting my health, my well-being, my mindset, and my relationships. I've experienced the world of burnout both personally and professionally. It was painful, and I know how to change it. I can help you break through the vicious cycle. When you're ready to end that pain and find freedom in the new areas of your life, you can book a call with Elizabeth Upton. Welcome, Elizabeth. Hi, welcome to
Hi,
Spirituality
Debbie.
Gone Wild.
How are you? Thank you. It's so good to be here. And thanks for the kudos around my son and how his little precious face is.
He's just he's adorable. I have 2 boys. Mine are 28 and 32. Okay, and I have a granddaughter that's 7, but I'm looking at him. He's got so much personality. I mean,
does.
he's
He
taking,
does.
you guys, like he's got this one shot and he's just got his arm back like, yep. I know what's up. Like I'm about all of it. Thank you. And I'm just sitting there going, this kid is he's just a rock star. So good job, mama and daddy, man.
Thank you. Thank you. He's our little pride and joy. He's been keeping us definitely entertained during the quarantine and having so much fun doing all kinds of things. He's going to be Spider-Man for Halloween and he's so excited. So yeah, we're lucky to have him. Yeah, I'm glad he chose me.
I cannot wait to see those costumes. Oh my God, this is going to be super. And that he chose you. And I love that too. So as I was reading, you've been through a lot of stuff. And so let's just kind of do a short background because I don't really get too into the story. I want to know what's happening with you right now and what kind of, and ways that we can help you and ways to tell our audience how to get in touch with you and work with you. So, but let's go ahead and get a small background on where it all started.
Well, gosh, where it all started. It's always that's the one question I always ask myself. It's like, where do you say that you began? But ultimately, I mean, what I want to do is I want to help others. I want to help people. And I've been through so much in my life and I've been able to kind of get through the other side and to get unstuck and to deal with tragedy and to run teams and be an executive and vice president of operations and have that influence how I've learned throughout my life. And now that I'm on the other side of that as a mother, I've learned so much about how I want to help as many people as I can with whatever it is that's going on in their lives. And, backing up to, I was traveling the world and filming. I guess it starts there. I've lived in both the, more spiritual world and also in the business professional world. And I traveled all over. I lived in the Yucatan Peninsula. I went to the Sacred Pyramids. I went to Egypt. I got to go to all these incredible places. And it was just me and my camera. And I got to interview incredible people and learn about ancient wisdom and sacred geometry and how we can incorporate those healing practices and rituals into our lives. And so that's what I had been doing and traveling and learning. My father was an Emmy Award winning filmmaker and taught me from an early age how to look at filmmaking and behind the scenes. We used to watch old Hitchcock movies and he used to show me, oh, look, the boom's in the shot. And I'd say, what? The boom's in the shot. And he would rewind it and he would show me. And I was fascinated by what was going on behind the scenes. I was always fascinated by how did they get that shot and what did they do? And how did that happen? And were they on a car zooming forward and zooming in while they were driving backwards? And so from a really early age, I was just fascinated by it and worked on films with my dad. And so brought that into my adult life and traveled and learned and really gathered all this wisdom that ultimately saved my life with the tragic death of my dad and, having to just pick myself up off the floor and be able to work through, because you can't go over it. You got to go through it. And when you're dealing with deep pain, and we all will, we're all going to deal with loss. We're all going to deal with the people in our lives that we love, not always being here. And so how do we do that? How do we get unstuck? How do we rebuild? How do we create? How do we keep our hearts open so that we're not shut down and closed off? And so I'm really interested in that as it pertains to business and to life.
I agree with you. Okay, so I think that you're on point. The alignment of the two are essential. I want to take a step back. I can only imagine what it must have been like to travel the world and have that. I know from watching my sons travel the world, I haven't, they have, that they come back with this knowingness that's different. And I think it's extraordinary. So I love that you've had those experiences, because I know that they have a lot to do with how that you are in doing your business today. But you're with your dad and grief, you're right. We all deal with grief in it's pretty intense stuff. I always say it's the most screwed up human experience that we get to go through, but it's truly the most enlightening. In my world, it was like ground zero, period, flat line, and it's a rebuild from there, and it's never going to be the same. And when you face it yourself too, that's another one, it's also another eye-opening, like, wait a minute. It's usually that point, and I imagine that this is what happened, is that all of a sudden you took a step back and said, no, this is not it. This is not what I want to, this is not where the path has been great, and it's given me these tools and all of these things that I can use. But then you decided to make a shift and a change. Let's talk about that shift.
Yeah, well, ultimately, I had a decision to make. So after the death of my father, I had a decision to make to either shut down and to close off my heart and to be more of a shell of myself, or to love again, open my heart, be present, celebrate. And, the journey from grief to happiness is far when you're dealing with circumstantial things in your life. And so there was a point where I just prayed and I called for help, and I asked everybody I knew that I've met that has lifted me up. Like, asking for help was a really big lesson, because as someone who's driven and the firstborn and, just the trailblazer, I wasn't used to saying I need help. And that was a really, really big pivotal point in my life, to be able to say, please, I need help. And everybody lent me their hearts, and everybody came and said, when people say, Debbie, my heart goes out to you, it's actually true. I experienced that people's hearts went out to me, and they let me borrow them while I needed it. And it was really amazing. So, the first year, in the Native American Lakota tradition, you get a year of mourning, and you are able to do that. But after the year is up, it's time to move on and to celebrate their life and to celebrate their legacy, and also let them go. It's part of the tradition, is like, okay, you've kept them around long enough, and it's time now for you to move on and to create. And that was really powerful and profound. And then being able to slowly rebuild and get back, get back to myself again. And at the same time is when I started my professional career. So it was actually at the exact same moment that my dad was killed, was when I got my offer letter. So it was this incredible opportunity to dive into the business and distract myself and just really focus on that. And that's exactly what I did, and was able to just absorb all of these incredible aspects of how we build a multi-million-dollar company, and how it operates, and how to build teams, and how to work with incredible people, and how to manage all of these projects at the same time. And to, we did development for film and television. So being able to work with the producers and have the teams together. And so it was uplifting, and it was something for me to really dive into. And that was that was a welcome distraction. And then there's a certain point where you go, okay, I really need to work on me. And so that's the part where I can come in and help others, is not necessarily the deep despair time. I have incredible friends and professionals that can work with people in that phase. Where I really can support is when you're ready to rebuild, when you're ready, when there's hope and you're ready to rebuild and you want to create, and from there. And it doesn't mean that you have to have had some sort of tragic experience. It's really, if you're a visionary and you have all these ideas and you want to make an impact on the world, but you're not quite sure where to start, and you have like 20 projects above your head and you don't know which one to work on, that, that's it right there. It's like, I'm getting chills talking about it, and I can help with, okay, let's focus on this. Let's prioritize. Let's get this in alignment with what you're doing. And then let's really look at how you can create that in actionable steps so that you're achieving your goals and you're seeing results.
Beautiful. And that is so important, because we can take someone like myself, for instance. Back 4 years ago, when I had this vision and this thought that about this network, having a place that are doing really great work in the world, like you, giving them a voice and to be seen, not looking for, though we have had Deepak Chopra and Greg Bradens of the world, and in the spiritual realm, those are all like really awesome people. But my heart, it's sort of like back when I had my advertising publication, and I loved mom and pops, brick and mortar mom and pops, because there's just this thing about the entrepreneur that I appreciate and I adore. So 4 years ago, when I had this thought, it was like, that's what I wanted to do, was to give someone like yourself the space, but I didn't know where to start. Oops. I would have gladly loved to have you back then. My God, I literally started the page. I had no clue. And it's been over, well over 3 years now. And we're still going at it, man. I'm listening to you going, oh God, I could hand over just like, here, take it, please.
No, seriously. That's what I've experienced. I've had clients that I've worked with, and and this was when we could actually work in person. I would see them come over, and it was like they were so heavy, and there was all this stuff, and it was like walking through the mud and get like, oh, it's like all these things, And then after 2 days of us doing the deep dive, doing the bigger picture approach, masterwork, and doing the micro detailed super system work, they would skip out of here. They would be like, I know what I need to do. I know where to start. Like it was so beautiful, the miraculous transformation that I got to witness. And that to me just lights me up, knowing that it's clear, it's actionable, it's doable. You're not swimming in it. You're not overwhelmed by it. And then there's life, right? So then we do the check-ins. So it's like, how is it on the court? How is it when you're actually exploring that schedule and doing those things? And what is it that you need to adjust or move to go with your natural momentum so that you're able to, in the moment, get that feedback? And so that's what I found is really important too, is the follow through aspect of it, because you can hand somebody a power tool, but they need to know how to use it, and they need support while they're doing it. So I totally hear you. It brings me so much joy to be able to say, here's tried and true practices, systems, aspects of what it is that you want to create. Here it is right here. Let's do this thing. And to be supporting that is everything for me.
I love that. So a lot of what I'm hearing you is you do a lot of personal work too. It's like, actually, from what I'm hearing, is like you really, am I going to make this assumption correctly, that you work with self-confidence, you work with building self-esteem and business? If you don't have self-confidence and self-esteem, you're dead in the water, And so that's kind of what I'm picking up, is that you really are helping people to get, remember who that they are, actually, and then give them direction, and then get that direction to say, because we're not, let's face it, guys, as an entrepreneur, the maps are all different. They really are. And there's so many different freaking roads you could take. And to have someone like you, Elizabeth, to say, you know what, let's try this road. And I'm going to promise you all, you can try that road, and it may not be the right, the one, but do it anyway. You got to try things. You got to give it a shot. You got to go with your gut and do that. But I'm imagining that that is something that you're really good at helping people to guide them around those on that crazy freaking board game board. They freaking, I didn't like that game Life when I was growing up. Period. I didn't like it at all. I like Clue. That stuff you got to figure out.
Right.
Remember,
Totally.
but because the game of life is just no. I wait. Which way? You remember thing 1 and thing 2?
Totally. I mean, you've
Thing 1 and
nailed
thing
it.
2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, yes, there's so many ways. And like one of my mentors has taught me, it's about what is your calling? What is it that you're here to do? What is it that is in alignment with your purpose? You could call it your why. You could call it your calling. You could call it, what you're here to do in the world. And ultimately connecting with that calling that is yours, connecting with that purpose that is yours, and why you do the things you do. From that place, it's sourcing everything that you're creating from there. So by sourcing that, oftentimes people are busy and fragmented, and they lost track of why they're doing what they're doing, and then you get stuck in the monotony of the day-to-day, and no wonder you're exhausted and feeling overwhelmed and like, why am I doing all this? And here's another meeting, and here's another thing. But when you connect with your purpose, with your why, with your calling, and you're able to say, oh, I'm doing this so for these reasons, or I want people to experience feeling present when they're in my space. Like that for me, that's my calling. So from that place, looking at, okay, what is it that I can create where there's presence and where there's impact? And from all of the things that I'm creating in my life, when I'm calling in that as I'm doing what I'm doing, there is a whole nother level of intention and alignment. And you can see the things that aren't in alignment and the things that are, because you now have this contrast and this distinction where you're able to go, oh, okay, I get that this is alignment, or I get that this isn't. And so working with that as a through line with everything you do, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter, whether you have a small business or you just have an idea in your mind, but really connecting with that and having that inform all of what you're choosing to create your action around. Now you're cooking with gas. And now you're able to really get connected to why you're doing what you're doing. And then you're creating it instead of being at effect of something that you said you might do. And right. And then you can also connect with what you want to do and why you want to do it. And suddenly those 20 projects, they have life. And then it's a matter of just prioritizing them and being able to see what's actually doable. I like to work in quarters. So I like to work in 3-month chunks of what is actually doable in a given quarter. And okay, maybe this one's going to be for Q1. This one, we can do these 5 in Q4 and really have a sense of how you can achieve that. And that's where the freedom comes from. That's where you get, oh, I'm free. Now I know what I can do. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. And, of course I do it all myself. There's nothing that I don't share with others that I haven't really done myself and tried and true and worked through myself.
And I love this because you've just given so many golden nuggets, and I want to just really quickly address the audience because they are. Leanne says that. Wow, that's a really pretty way to spell Leanne, by the way. Absolutely, I love that. And back over here, yes, asking for help is definitely important and a hard lesson to learn at times, for sure, for sure. And I am so grateful for everybody who's on right now. And if you have any questions, if you have a business, if you're thinking about going into business, I'm actually going to put up her website here in a banner. And before I do that, though, you know what? I actually have a video that I'd like to play that is you. And I don't know why I didn't get my bigger mouse today. All right, you guys, this is so much fun. I'm learning, and I hope everybody has gotten a hold of this. Prioritize, get in alignment. When things aren't in alignment, stop pushing it. Seriously.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, just stop. Just stop it.
Please, stop it. Stop it now. Oh my God. Please. That's what I tell myself anyways. Don't, Debbie, don't.
Good.
Wow. Stop alignment. Stop. Okay. Let me come back over here. And let's take a look at this absolutely wonderful video of Elizabeth.
Hi guys, I'm Elizabeth and I am so excited to get to know more about you. The system that I've created is really simple and it comes from all the experience that I've had, but it's looking through the lens of what's doable for the quarter, what are the goals and the commitments that you have, and then from that we create project plans so you can get into action and really know how to achieve that over the course of 3 months. And then you can look back at it and go, oh, wow, over these 3 months, this was actually doable. And now I've actually completed that. I love being a soundboard for what it is that you really want to create in your life, and then be able to help you to understand all of the small bits and pieces that are going to actually have you creating that as a result.
Fabulous. Absolutely wonderfully fabulous. That was freaking awesome. And what great quality too. Everybody notice that? I'm like loving that video. That was a gorgeous trailer. Just gonna...
Thanks, Debbie.
You are so welcome.
It's so good to see all the faces, all the people that I love working with. And it's just, I get so much joy out of it. And that's when you know that you're doing what you want to do, when you're just flying in the moment. You're present, you're listening, you're showing up, and magic happens. And it really does. And that's one thing that I rest into, even when when I used to do live workshops or in person. It was like, just show up. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to have it all understood. You just show up. And when you show up, that's when the magic happens. And so I see that in this video is why I'm bringing it up, because I feel it. I feel it.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. And I love the work that you're doing. So let me come back on the screen here. I was looking for, I'm confused right now with why I'm not seeing my ticker like I normally do. So anyway, has nothing to do with anything other than Debbie just being silly. It is Elizabeth ElizabethUpton.com. Normally I've got a ticker that's scrolling across the bottom
ticker.
Here.
I'm like, what's your ticker?
My ticker. And I'm just like over here going, what? So that's okay. Back to this. Okay, guys.
Yep.
So I'm imagining that in business that you have, like Spirituality Gone Wild has a list of our belief systems, our ethical systems that we hold ourselves accountable to. And accountability in business, just like self-accountability, because you do a lot of self-work, and within self-work, in my world, that means getting really accountable for our actions, for our everything, and realizing that everything, for me, it's like nothing's personal. It's for me to look at and see what I need. If I've got it coming up, the shit's in me, what's up? I look at myself because I have to look in the mirror. There isn't, it's not the other person doing bad, wrong, stupid, because that's bull. It is, where is there maybe a miscommunication? Where is there whatever? So within business and within the structure that we're building, part of our thing is accountability. It's integrity. It's doing business in a new realm. See, business isn't done the same way anymore, guys. I've owned businesses in the past. It's not done the same way. It's now being done a lot differently. It's a collective collaboration of people getting together and co-creating in a state of what I call compersion. Compersion being the joy and elation of others' accomplishments and achievements, and being really stoked for them. Like right now, how I'm so excited for you, Elizabeth, and I'm just so grateful that you're here. And I'm excited for where you're at in life, for the tools that you're bringing to people you haven't even met yet, for all of the beauty that you are going to show somebody that they are, because you're helping them remember who they are. You're helping someone's dream come true. That's one of my favorite things in this world. It's like, you watch their dreams come true because you're part of the process. I love that you hand somebody a tool, but yet you're not telling them you're showing them the way to do this. You're not just, here you go figure it out. That's what that's what they were doing before. That's what I've been, it's you're getting in and you're, getting your hands involved in the development of the creation. It's kind of, okay, now I'm going to get really cheesy on you all, but it's the image that's coming to my head. Remember the movie Ghost where they're molding things, but I know it turned into mush. That's probably not. All right. Probably a bad thing, but it's like two people working. So sometimes you have somebody working the clay, and you have somebody who's observing the person who's working on the clay. The person knows the directions they're going, but the person who's observing can see it from a different perspective. And maybe, just maybe, might have an idea, actually, if you kind of did this a little bit, why don't you try it? It might give you the result you're looking for. I've been working with this clay for I don't know how long. I keep doing it. I don't understand why it's not freaking working. I'm going to slap it down. Forget that clay. I'm over it.
Yeah.
And then you come over and you're just observing. And what happens is, and if you watch some of the biggest leaders in business talk, they're going to tell you to have an expert come in and take an outside perspective look in and see what's going on, because you're going to see things because you're not married to it. It's a different look. You're looking at it from a strategic standpoint of what may or may not be working, and really taking note of that to help guide them. And that's what I see with you. And that's why I appreciate that you're here. And I want to know from you, did I see you have a course that people can take?
Yes. And I love what you brought up too about it's not business as usual anymore. And having mentors, having teachers, I have them. It's really important because you cannot see your own stuff, and having that level of support there, that is a listening for you, that is an inflection point, because all of our teachers and coaches and mentors, they have a whole nother perspective and set of tools that they can provide for you. And that's what mine do for me. And that's what I do for everyone else. So I have my own experiences and breakdowns, and I go to them and they support me, and people and clients have their own breakdowns and they come to me, and to be able to support that and see it from another lens is so important, because we cannot do it for ourselves. And we've been doing it for ourselves for a very long time, and it gets really lonely out there. And so absolutely, it's not business as usual anymore. And for the course, I work with people. I've been doing a lot of one-to-one work, and I've been discovering it over the last 2 years. I've really been doing it behind the scenes. This is me kind of coming out and being visible and saying, hey, this is what I do, everybody. So it takes a lot of courage to do that, and I'm excited. And the one-to-one work that I've been doing is, again, more in the quarterly systems. We look at, there's the 3-phased approach for the breakthrough formula. There is the approach phase, which is the strategy, the alignment, the macro, looking at how everything is connected and what it is that you're doing, why it is that you're doing what you're doing, and connecting with that. Also on a deeper level, looking at your commitments. So what is it that you are committed to? And that's in your life, that's in your business, that's in your partnerships, that's in your investors, that's with your son. It's with your friends. So you can create your commitments for all of those aspects of your life. And it's a really great way to connect back to why you're doing what you're doing. And also, if something is out of alignment, it can help kind of snap you back in, because you go, oh yeah, this is the only reason there's a breakdown is because it's not in alignment with my commitment. And that's a really cool window into, oh, okay, now I get why I'm feeling this way or acting this way or having this moment, because we all have these moments, and the moments are not going to go away, by the way. Sorry to be the breaker of bad news. They're not going to go away, but they can happen with less frequency, and you can get off it faster, and you can, and I'm talking in your life, and I'm talking in business. I'm talking about people you work with, bosses, CEOs, whatever it is, right? Like you were saying, it's not them. It's not out there. It's actually in here. So there's patterns, there's processes, there's all kinds of things. So the first phase is really getting that clear, getting that and being that listening and showing up and listening for that. And then the second phase is all about the systems and looking at how you can get into micro detail with the projects, with prioritizing, with having a sense of the time it's going to take to do something, the impact it's going to have on you, on your team, and how much money it's going to cost, right? And so you have your goals aligning with what it is that you're doing. So there's your alignment, why you're doing what you're doing. There's your goals. So let's just say in business terms, it could be that my goal is that I want to have X amount of revenue brought in for this quarter. So if that's your goal, then it's going to set how you prioritize what you work on, which would be a different goal from I want to have more freedom and creativity in my life, right? That would be a different. And it changes how you prioritize what you work on. So this is the more micro detailed work, and I have templates, and we really get into what's actually doable. And then the third phase is the action phase. So then it's all about action and about taking action, experiencing it, what's working, what isn't working, and doing that without a morality mindset where you're either bad or you're wrong. I mean, I don't know, Debbie, if when you went to school and you didn't do your homework, if you felt like you were a bad person because of it. It's like, oh, I didn't do my thing. And, you know, a lot of us overachievers, it's like, that's our MO is like, oh, I'm bad because I didn't do it. Or I did it. I'm good because I got that done. Right.
I did that. So I'm an A plus
right here, you know, exactly. So I'm talking to myself. So having that not be a part of what you're working on, again, gives you freedom because you just renegotiate. Everything is a renegotiation. So you realize, oh, you know what? I couldn't have it by 4 p.m. on Thursday. And I'm working on having it on, Monday at 3 p.m. because of this. And so you're in integrity, you're doing what you're saying, you're renegotiating, and that's the action part of it. So all of that together creates results. Yeah. And it's an incredible, when I find people looking back at what they said that they wanted to do and then actually doing it. I mean, the fulfillment that you get from saying, I want to do this and actually doing it. And it's major. And
yeah, it's big.
And it's not even like, I think we future project of like, oh, well, that's what I want. Or like, I want to buy that house. But to get to buying that house is a daily actionable aspect. It's like, it doesn't just happen. It takes action. So that's why I love the law of action. I think people talk about the law of attraction a lot, and I am just all excited about the law of action and how incredible it is when you take action, that every action that you have impacts your reality. And from that place, when you're taking action, and it doesn't have to be massive, it can be just consistent, imperfect action. Just take it and do it and have someone around you that will support you, because that's what you need to get it done.
I got to agree with you on that. A couple years ago, actually, I discovered somebody named Mel Robbins, and Mel Robbins wrote the 5-second rule book. The 5-second rule is simple. When the alarm goes off, get your ass out of bed. There was another key moment in my life when I heard this video, and it was extraordinary. And it was like the general from the, I don't know, colonel or whatever, somebody speaking that was in the military, really high up. Forgive me for not knowing who it was. Anyway, he said, every day when you get up, make your bed. Because I know some of you are sitting there saying right now, I don't even know how to start. I know. Whambulance. I'm sorry, but I've been there. That's why I'm giving you the whambulance. I'm helping you out. Trust me, believe me. Victim syndrome is not serving you. Listen, I'm telling you. Get up and make your bed. Get your booty moving and make your bed. Get up when the alarm goes off. I'm a snoozer. I hit my snooze sometimes. Sometimes I get right up, but it is think about the smallest thing you can do and the smallest change you can make. And I love that you brought that up. So I want to go also visit the renegotiation and new agreements. So I have studied Marshall Rosenberg's work in compassionate communication, and for many years, one of the things that is really super important are our agreements with ourselves and our agreements with others. And knowing that when an agreement is no longer serving you or working, because like, let's say that you give a yes at the time, it's a yes, but then it becomes not a yes because you just realized you were people pleasing and you just blew chunks. And you're like, oh my God, I don't want to do this, because that's real, man. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, it's like you need time to process it. I know I'm a processor. I want to be able to say yes, but if I don't have the time to actually look at what it's going to take,
yeah.
then,
But what about if
you get stuck?
Well, yeah, but then you can get like, I get excitable, like, and you know, oh, this is a great idea, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, like, just because when and where do you think, Debbie, that you're going to add that into what you already do,
Right.
brainiac? And then it's like, geez, renegotiating, and I love that. Or looking at the agreement and the fact that you may need to have an uncomfortable conversation and doing it compassionately. What's real for the other person? If
That's
you
so
can't,
important.
yeah, it's
Having difficult conversations take a lot of courage, and to approach it, I found with curiosity. Major.
favorite word ever. Well, that's one of the biggest tools in compassionate communication is curiosity.
There you go.
Yeah, it is about, it's how do we tap into our empathetic self? We simply think about what might be happening for this other person right now. When things don't turn out like we think they should, the first problem in my life when that happens is that I'm attached to an outcome that I need to back off of. And I probably haven't followed my gut, most likely, which is all good. Every path is excellent because it's an opportunity to explore, to experience, and to enjoy, if you choose to see it that way. I look for the gratitude moment in everything. And so renegotiating your agreements is huge. And it is part of being in integrity with business, because if the original agreement that you've made isn't working, then both parties doing what they feel is appropriate and that is having that discussion and sitting down with them. But it's being compassionate, just like you said, being curious and really holding space for each other and each other's how we're feeling, like, because it's important. We're all important. And that is just a key thing in business. But attaching yourself to the outcome. Listen, I've got a brand new membership flying, which I'm going to plug right now. Spirituality Gone Wild has finally taken the bleep. We've been talking about it for years. Honestly, this is like every day it's an actionable step. Just like Elizabeth said, I've got a mountain of stuff and I'm looking all at it going, this, and the prioritizing is key. Like, I know that today I have to stop, prioritize with my son, but actually my son, my 28-year-old is my tech. He's incredible. So is my other one. Right? They're incredible. So I have to sit back and do all this. But even with them, like, dude, if I don't have an agreement, like if we don't sit and talk, we're going to be, we have, and luckily Christopher is a trained compassionate communication expert at this point, which is a whole other show.
Everything.
I'll have to tell you about
lucky.
Good. Well, you know what?
Lucky
It's
mama.
like, girl, if I knew the stuff I knew when they were little, like your son's age, man, compassionate communication, emotional intelligence, EQ is where it's at. Gratitude intelligence is even better. I call that GQ, but it was already taken. Otherwise, it would have been brilliant. But yeah, it's just, so let's just jump back to you for a moment, though. And today, where you sit today, what would you say that your favorite part of this journey has been? We know that helping people and all of that, but for you in your own personal growth and seeing your family grow and all of those things, I'd like to know, where's that gratitude moment that just sticks out for you?
What a good question. Wow. I could say in big picture where I've found more joy in my life and where I've been able to create instead of consume, instead of react to, instead of be at effect of, that shift has again made my life so much more enjoyable. I experienced so much joy, so much freedom. And a lot of that is taking away the illusion of separation of work and life. I had this whole epiphany with a workshop that I was taking and a mentor and the guidance. And it was like, working in the office and that separation, right? Of like, what do I say? What don't I say? What's here? What's that? It was this overarching kind of separation that I feel is a myth.
Yeah.
It's just this, like, it's not that it's separate. It's all connected. And it was like, oh, my work is my life and my life is my work. And it just was this aha where I realized that I got to create it and I got to be at power of it rather than the opposite. And from there, I've been able to, again, look at what is important to me, look at what I'm committed to, and then create systems, create architecture, as one of my mentors calls it, that pulls you into action. So it's another, and I teach a whole course on this, and I've done live workshops, and the concept of being pulled into action is amazing because it gives you something that you're not just waiting for yourself to do it or going like, oh, well, you got to do that thing. It's actually pulling you into action so that you're doing it. And so, I've created space, I've created time, I've looked at what brings me joy. I have a whole day that's just dedicated to my family. That is not work related. This is our time. And the fun part is when you have that space, then you go, well, what do you want to do? Like, we could do anything. We could do a picnic in the backyard. We could, whatever we want to do. We could cook, we could hang out, we could dance, we could listen to music. It creates this space that I've found a lot of clients that I work with, they don't have that space. They just have the work, rinse, repeat, the same thing that I was doing. And then they're exhausted and then they don't have time. And then they're on their way to burnout and they just are unhappy. And then it comes through in everything that you do. So even just having a day that is your do what you want to do day, like do whatever you want to do. Like there's no rules day, right? And from that place, just do it. Like you want to sleep in, sleep in. You want to roll around in the grass, do it. Like whatever it is that you need. If let's say that you have like an ankle that you need to work on, like spend that day getting acupuncture, spend that day stretching, whatever it is, hydrate, and these things, even though they're very simple, we just don't do them. And so, if you need to drink more water in your life, a way to pull you into action is to have a water station right there. If you're not getting up and walking to the kitchen to get the water, well, bring the water to you. That's an example of a system that will have you drinking water, right? It's like, it can be that simple and it can be, hugely profound when it relates to what it is that you want to do in your life. And I've found that by giving people permission, i.e. myself, to be able to do that and to take the time and to be able to say, you deserve that day or you deserve this time, or, what are your non-negotiables? That's one of the things that I ask everybody I work with. Yeah. And then when they start, because we go, first you get all the projects. This. I'm writing my book. I'm starting this. I need to hire.
My list? I got a big ass
one. You got a list? I'll help you. Give me your list.
Whopper.
The list, right?
Big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then I say, what are your non-negotiables? And then there's a whole nother list. And they're like, they didn't even think that list was part of the other list. And so then we look at a holistic approach, because you only have 100%, Debbie. You don't, that's all you have. You have 100%. That's it. You don't have 110 or 100, 200. So you have to be looking at it from that perspective. You know, do I want to spend 20% of my time here? Do I want to spend 30% of my time here? And creating that, because then again, that's where the realism comes in, and you realize, okay, this is what's doable. And then the systems, you know, getting everything in the calendar and really looking at it. And once you start to see it all come together, then you realize, oh, now I know why I wasn't doing this. Oh, now I realize how that wasn't possible then. Now I realize I have to cut this or postpone it to next quarter. And it's very fun and liberating. I love that stuff. I'm just like, I eat it up. You know, my operational brain just, I love it. You know, I'm not a vice president of operations just by chance. You know, I just love this stuff. So I'm like, look at how you can move this and create that. And you get really serious about your priorities. And, you know, to answer your question, I know it's like a big answer, but this is exactly what's created the freedom in my life. And I can honestly say that I'm living my best life. And I can honestly say that I love my life. And that to me previously was a concept that sounded like pie in the sky, woo woo, kind of, oh yeah, like, can you really ever say that you love your life? I don't know. I was wondering that. And blessed be, I was able to, you know, figure it out with a lot of support and help others figure it out so that they can say that they love their life and that they can say that they love their business. And that's the biggest thing for me, because when you live your life fulfilled and when you have gratitude and when you have joy and when you have curiosity and you have time to play and time to create whatever it is that you want to create, you're living your best life and you're doing and making an impact in the world. And ultimately, I think that that's what we all want to do anyway. So why don't we just do that?
Okay. I'm all about that. Conscious business, though, is a lot different than this is. I mean, it's just where it's at. It's the change that we are the change. I love your list. So you guys, that's a great tool if you are, no matter what that it is in your life that you're looking at, think about what your non-negotiables are. What is it that I look at? Because I've been single for years now. Years. It's so mind-boggling. 5. Like, what? But I look at my list, and that list, because that's one of my projects too.
Yes. It's got to be. If that's what you're interested in, you have to have it on the list.
It's on my list. But that list is, what do I really want in a partner? What do I absolutely do not want? Because I know really well what I don't want, actually. I just don't focus on that. But there's a third list, and this is super important. Am I willing to be that? Am I willing to be that I seek? And if I'm willing to be that I seek, then what I'm seeking is me. You see? And then the alignment with the partner will happen. But I really had to get clear on looking at that. And remember, because we all make reference depending upon what our experiences are. You can't know something you don't know until you know it. It's just not even possible. And there goes my dog again. And thank you, Foxy.
She agrees.
She totally agrees. She's just like,
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And the things that rock your spark your G vibe. I want you all to think about that one person that you look at that either you've had total like, oh my God, I love them, idol worship, like, and realize that everything that you love about them, that if you didn't have a point of reference to go from, that you wouldn't even know that they were cool as hell, because you see everything that you admire is within you. Everything that you admire is part of you. So go forward today, spark that G vibe. Remember, who are you grateful for? That is the most important thing I could possibly say. Go right here to elizabethupton.com. Please go to spiritualitygonewild.com. Join our membership site. It is absolutely phenomenal. Steve Weber, I see you on there. And I appreciate you, audience, and the comments that you have made, and you are incredible. Elizabeth, I absolutely love and appreciate that you have came here today, and that you are a conscious business leader in this world, which is highly needed. It's part of the change that we're all experiencing. And being the change is really, that's the one thing. If you say, well, what am I going to do to change the world? Change yourself. You actually, that is incorrect. Can I just correct I'm going to call myself out. Nobody needs to change. It's perspective change. Let me clarify. No one's broken. You don't need to be fixed. So the changing is in our attitudes, our perspectives, and put your water by your side, like Elizabeth said, so that you're able to get to it. No more excuses. What's up with that? I mean, geez, Jiminy Crickets. By the way, Divine Body Reset Challenge is coming. Oh my God. 10:20 it starts. Catch us on Unify at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. And the panel is all going to be there, and we're going to be talking about the Divine Body Reset. You know, I've been on a weight loss journey my whole life, and 20 years ago, I lost 150 pounds. I am going to be showing you all some pictures of this journey of 150-pound weight loss, of almost dying, of all of the other things that came. The weight loss came first. The almost dying came later with the hysterectomy. It wasn't correlated. They weren't correlated. But in the last 20 years, I've got a lot of things to show you, and I'm stepping back into this Divine Body Reset space. And I want all of you to join us on Unify. If you look at Write It on Facebook, and also Spirituality Gone Wild, it will be simulcast on both pages. And let's get all of you, join us. It's free. Divine Body Reset, man. We're going to get into it. Y'all are welcome. And it is ran by Andrea Lynn. Born Enough is her book. If you've missed Andrea, I've had her on several times. Go back, look at our video archives, and find her. And Mara says, what a great inspiration you are. And I agree, Elizabeth, you are incredible.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you. And everything that you're up to, Debbie, is so inspiring. I'm inspired by you and how you're uplifting people and creating conversation and gratitude dialogue and connecting with your body and mindset. And, you know, I love to know you, connect with you, and grateful for everything that you're up to. And thank you. Thank you for being such a purpose-driven, conscious force in the world. So thank you. It's an honor to connect with you and talk to you and be here today. So thank you.
Absolutely. You're a complete rock star. I am 1,000% excited. You guys go check out ElizabethUpton.com, book a session with her. You know what? Go and be the best self you can be. And Elizabeth's got some guidance to help you do that. Peace out. I'll see you all on the flip tomorrow. And it's going to be a blast. And I'll see you Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. Women rising, baby. Women rising. That's where it's at. Not that I don't love you, men. I do.